Hello, friends. It is Catherine Massell here, Ascending Earth Creatrix, Master Intuitive Energy Healer. Here we are at the end of 2018, if you can believe it. I can barely believe it, but I'm grateful for it. I am grateful for this year because, like many of you, I've had breakdowns, which led to breakthroughs, which led to revelations and all kinds of fun stuff. And I'm sure that many of you who are watching this are going to watch the replay probably share that same sentiment, that it brought you to a place of realization, and that's never a bad thing. Hi, Holly. Hi. Very emphatic. Hi. I'm going to share this in a few places, on a couple pages. So give me a sec while I do that. Okay. Where else should I share? Where else? Got some juicy stuff to share with you. I'm going to try to be short because I will be going live on another page. Purposeful Living Healing Center. I'm going to be doing a weekly, just a quick talk, a little boost, if you will, on Purposeful Living Healing Center's page, business page, because I am going to be collaborating with the owner-operator, the Envisionary, Lee Hurst, who runs that center, and we will be bringing forth a live retreat in Tahoe, somewhere in Tahoe, hopefully South Lake Tahoe, in March, end of March 2019. There'll be more information on that soon. But on Fridays at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, I'm going to be going live on that page there to share some fun stuff with people. Thanks for sharing, Holly. And basically along the lines of what I'm talking about today, which has a lot to do with embodiment, which is really the next phase of our spiritual journey. And I know I wanted to share this on my timeline as well, so I'm going to do that real quick. So how's everybody doing? Everybody doing good? Feeling good? Looking good? Hi, Tasha. Hi, Courtney. Who else is here? And if you're watching the replay, put in hashtag replay. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what your power words are going to be for 2019, because I'm going to share mine really quickly. I have two, because why choose just one? I have two. And two of my power words, I also have a power phrase for 2019, which is something that I share in my Wealth Consciousness Collective. I'm going to be sharing this Saturday for our last class together. You can get in on the next round of the Wealth Consciousness Collective. We start February 2nd. This is going to be an amazing course, and talk about embodying more of spirit and learning how to play the game of money and wealth consciousness in 5D, which is a way more fun way to play with money and wealth. That's what we do in the Wealth Consciousness Collective. We start the next round on February 2nd. Early bird price is only until January 5th, and that's $397. After that, it goes up to $497. Stephanie's here. Stephanie's in the Wealth Consciousness Collective. She's experienced some great shifts and breakthroughs in that course. So I want to talk real quick about, I'm going to try to keep this to like 20 minutes. I get to work on my brevity here, which is quite a challenge for me. But I think many of you who are either here watching live or are catching this replay would agree with me when I say that 2018 was a year of profound revelations, some breakdowns, some breakthroughs. To me, breakdowns always lead to a breakthrough if you adopt the perspective of being able to see it that way. Breakdowns happen for a reason. It's because something is ready to go. Something is ready to leave your energy. Something is ready to shed. Something is ready to release. And breakdowns are ways for that to happen. And it's usually because we have not really paid attention to something for, a period of time that allows us to see, okay, this is ready to go. I could lovingly release this, but nah, I'm going to wait for everything to fall apart and then for my life to blow up, and then I'll make the change. And we're used to being in this mode because that has to do with survival mode consciousness, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But you've had an incredible series of shifts, of revelations, awakenings this year. Breakthrough after breakthrough, or if you want to call it breakdown after breakdown. Believe me, from this process, you are awake. Stephanie says, I was going to write my testimonial and then I saw you were live, so I joined in. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Were you spying on me? Courtney says, yes. I'm so tuned in to all of you. So believe me, after 2018 and what we've gone through, not just in 2018, but it was already starting to happen. The wheels were already turning in 2017, probably towards the middle of 2017, and it picked up momentum. And I mean that an awareness was taking hold, an awakening was taking hold. And for many of us, this has looked like us getting a lot of energy activations, having a lot of guided meditations, doing energy alignments, things like that. And so with the sum total of all of these things that you have done to become more spiritually awake, believe me when I say, you are awake. You are awake. You're about as awake and aware as you can possibly be right now, okay? You are at a very, very high place on the arc of your spiritual expansion. And if you believe the idea very strongly, as I do, that you are a spiritual being already, you are having a human awakening, however. This means that you are reckoning your physical, your human nature with that of your spiritual galactic self. You're trying to figure out a way to harmonize these two different realms of perception, these two realms of different energy frequencies, really. But they don't have to continue to conflict with each other. And in fact, I think that process has gone on so long. And in fact, many of the messages that I've been receiving about what 2019 is going to be about for us is about this integration, this merging and creating this harmonic between the physical self and the spiritual self. So what's next? So what does this look like? What are the messages from Source trying to tell us, and what are they going to continue to show us starting now and going through 2019 about what we need to do and take all this energy, this level of wokeness, this level of being awake and aware that we all have now? What do we do with this? How do we next step this? How do we scale this so that we can have a more expanded and evolved human experience on this journey of our human awakening? Embodiment. And I know that this is a word that got thrown around a lot in 2018, but I want to talk for real for a second about what embodiment is, because I think that largely it was thrown around as quite a buzzword, and I may have been guilty of it at one point, but there is a lot of clarity that has really come to me on this idea of embodiment. And what does that really mean? It means that we evolve and expand our human vessel, this physical form, to accommodate more of spirit. So that doesn't mean jumping on another energy activation. That doesn't mean, doing another goddess activation. They are wonderful, and believe me, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I do a lot of this stuff. I've done a lot of energy activations, a lot of energy alignments, attunements, call it what you will. But yet another energy activation, another alignment or attunement is not what you need right now. You're good. You're awake. You're aware. You have reached a beautiful pinnacle on the arc of your spiritual expansion. There's nothing more that you can glean from outside of you to help you in this process of human awakening. I see lots of people chasing after, energy activations and light healings and attunements as if that's the only thing that can make them more whole at this point. But you're kind of missing the point of embodiment. really. Stephanie says, just what I was wondering how to do. Well, you took the right step because you're going to be in Evolve and Expand, and that's exactly what we're doing. We are next stepping this, and we are scaling this. You're already awake. You're already aware, Stephanie, so what I'm teaching you to do in Evolve and Expand is truly how to embody this. How to evolve and expand the mind and the body to accommodate more of spirit and to live your life in accord with your spiritual galactic nature, okay? So I see lots of people chasing after, energy activations and light healings and attunements as if that's the only thing that can make them feel more whole, okay? And what many people don't realize about the process of ascension is that it is really about bringing more of your divinity into the body. Literally inhabiting the fullness of spirit in the physical right now. In a way, it's better to call this process descension, which can be explained as more of your divine galactic self arriving here, okay? That means that we are calibrating the body, optimizing the body, where the body is becoming more crystalline in structure. That's certainly what we do with DNA activation and restructure. We assist the body in becoming more crystalline in structure so that it can hold more of your spiritual galactic nature in the physical vessel. That's the greatest, quickest way to describe DNA activation and restructure, because it's where we help you land this DNA integration, this upgrade, this activation of higher strands of your DNA into the physical so that you can reap the benefits of it now in this physical form. So in a way, it's better to call this process of like anchoring more of your divinity, more of your galactic self into the physical body, it's better to call that descension. Because that means that more of your galactic, your spiritual nature of spirit itself is arriving here. And if the body isn't calibrated to accommodate that, it can be really uncomfortable. Many of us have had a litany of ascension symptoms this year. That's one great way to explain how the body experiences discomfort when trying to accommodate higher frequencies, higher dimension codes of energy coming into the physical. This is what ultimately elevates you past a 3D reality, this idea of descension rather. Having the physical vessel accommodate more of the spiritual. That is descension, essentially. And this is how we evolve past a 3D reality. But, and there's a big but, it involves a consciously directed, consciously guided effort on your part to evolve the mind, to evolve the body, so that they can expand to fully embody your spirit. To wholly integrate it, okay? This merging of the physical with the spiritual in harmony and full accord is what moving into 5D or beyond is truly about. There's still this really misplaced belief about ascension that we're going somewhere, okay? You're not going to embody more of your spiritual nature without the only filter of your experience of that, which is your physical body. So yes, you take it with you, but we are becoming less dense in structure. We are becoming less dense energy beings. This is what elevating to a crystalline structure, this is what DNA activation and restructure is all about, essentially. We can't have a level of experience. There literally is no filter of experience. Nothing that we can say that we know or feel without the physical body. But some of us are really holding on to this really mislaid belief that poof, we're just going to like end up somewhere and just be these complete beings of light. Well, we're not going to make that huge quantum leap without some stages in between. So here we are, and what I'm explaining to you is here we are at this next stage. So we're still in this body. It's not like poof, you're in 5D and you don't have a physical body anymore. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It's taken us many, many thousands of years to evolve as physical beings. The DNA has evolved, the physical structure of the body, the organs, the tissues, the cellular structure has evolved. It's not, and believe me, we're not ready as humans to evolve at this level. It's going to be gradual. But we need to consciously direct and guide this next level of our awakening. We have to participate in it. And this idea that we keep chasing after these energy activations and light attunements as if something outside of us is going to give us all the answers that we're looking for, by the same token, ignoring anywhere we need to consciously direct or guide this process from within and change our inner reality is really, it's foolish thinking. And it simply isn't going to work. So many people are also wondering, why, if they've been doing all these activations, these energy healings, etc., they've had all these breakdowns, they've had all these breakthroughs in 2018, why don't they feel any different? Because there is a strongly mislaid belief that these major shifts that you want to happen in your life to help you feel different, that somehow takes place outside of you. Until we evolve past that idea, good luck feeling any different, okay? You don't feel different because you haven't consciously shifted your inner reality to match with these activations and alignments, these higher energies that have been trying to reach you and teach you. You don't feel any different because you're looking at energy activations and the way that they make you feel while you're doing them, or while you're basking in the afterglow after having done them, that this is like a little spiritual treat, that this is somehow a little vacation from your normal life so that you can feel better. Something you just dabble with when you make time for it, instead of believing that this is a way of being for you going forward for the rest of your life. If you keep feeling like this is this little, like spiritual amuse-bouche that you give yourself every once in a while to make yourself feel better, and ignoring that you are in this survival mode state of consciousness for the rest of your days, you are in delusion. You are in self-denial. You don't feel any different because you're in denial about the fact that the world we live in is very fast-paced. It's demanding of our energy. And it's going to continue to be on that trajectory and be even more so as we make greater advances in technology, as we move further on in this technological spectrum and learn how to do things and introduce new ways of experiencing how many more things we can fit into our day. Unless we learn to live beyond that and not be seduced by the power of, but I can do so much more in my day. But what are you really doing except being more busy, but less productive? Understand that all technology is not that wonderful. In fact, technology is advancing so fast that it is accelerating past what we can even understand in terms of how to use it. Technology is moving so quickly along that things are coming in and we have no idea how to use them or implement them yet. And then the next technology comes out. The next new way to experience this new thing or this great thing. And the more of these distractions that we have, we are seduced by this outer reality and we become addicted to it to such a degree that we forget who we are as spiritual beings and we neglect tending to the inner garden of our soul. Until you learn to live beyond that trigger of your outer environment, to live beyond this fast-paced world and developing your own pace of life in spite of the seductiveness of that outer reality and this new gadget or that new technology or this new fidgety thing that you get to have to make your life better, you got to ask yourself, is this stuff just making me more busy or am I feeling more productive? Because there's a big difference. We find ourselves in a survival state of consciousness because of this. For most of our days, throughout most of our days, we feel in this survival state. We're busy, yet not productive. We are run ragged. Our minds are tired at the end of the day. And it's not from physical exertion, it's from mental exertion. Our mind is trying to give mindful attention to so many different things that are vying for our attention, all of this sensory stimulus at any given point. That is exhausting. And so no wonder you don't make time or prioritize Time to go inward. Time to tend that inner soul garden, right? We are busy yet not productive. We're run ragged. We're pulled in a million different directions and feeling like you have no time, like you have no energy to commit to a way of being that is more meaningful, more fulfilling, more life-affirming. This has to be a shift that comes from within. We have to stop looking at our outer reality to kind of gift us something, a way out, a rescue, a helping hand. There is no such thing. Stop with the self-denial and the self-deception that something is going to show up in your outer reality that has the ability to shift so much of your inner reality that you finally get to feel the way you're looking for. The next step in our spiritual journey is to be able to create this inner shift through our own guidance, our own conscious participation in this process. We feel like we have no time. We feel like we have no energy to commit to a way of being that is more meaningful, fulfilling, and life-affirming. And this is not a creative state. This place where we find ourselves for most of the day, this is not a creative state. And if you want to know the difference between being in a creative state and a survival state, I have a lot of videos on that I've recorded over the last couple weeks. Text me here or tag me here in the comments and I'll send you one of those videos, because there's a big difference energetically between being in a survival state, which most of the world, in about 80% of our day, we find ourselves, versus being in a creative state. And this shift has to be conscious to be in a creative state. Now that being said, you can only fully integrate your current level of spiritual expansion into the physical. You can only unite these two in accord if you are in a creative state. Now we may find these lucid moments by accident or by default, where we find ourselves in a creative state, where we move beyond this survival mode of consciousness where we're constantly in fight or flight mode. We're feeling pulled in a million different directions. To feel different, to change your way of being overall, to feel more like a spiritual being having a human awakening, and to reap all of the wonderful benefits of that, the rewards of that, means living consciously and deliberately at the level of creator, the level of being the creator of your reality, to operate and navigate in this world every day in this creative state versus this survival state. And I will tell you, it's not going to get easier for you. It's not going to get easier for you if you are in denial of this. If you are not willing to look at, okay, hey, I am in the survival state, and this occupies most of my energy for most of my day. You're not going to create this, or integrate, I should say, all of this level of spiritual healing that you've done, this spiritual awakening that you've experienced with all the activations, the alignments, the attunements that you've done, all the courses that you've taken, all the master classes that you've taken. You're not going to be able to fully integrate this into the physical unless you are in a creative state. This is what Evolve and Expand program is all about. This is what this coming year is all about. You can go ahead and quote me on this. You are going to have plenty of opportunities, and I call them opportunities, to experience the lesson of what I'm talking about right here, right now, in 2019. This next level of your human awakening, which is bringing your spiritual beingness more into your humanness and uniting those two, bringing harmony and accord to those two, you are going to have plenty of opportunities to integrate that lesson into your life in 2019. Because what the universe is inviting us to do, what the universe is petitioning us to do right now, is to be able to look at the greater scope of who we are as human beings and where we are on this journey. And that means that we can no longer be in denial about the change we're looking for. If we want to feel different, if we're honest about what that feeling is that we're searching for, there are no amount of energy activations, no more energy alignments or attunements that you can do, something that happens outside of you that will shift and change and transform this inner reality to let you align with the feeling that you are searching for. This must be a consciously directed, a deliberately shifted thing within you. You have to participate in this process. We can't keep going on thinking that I'm going to be in this survival state where I just feel like I'm just getting through this day, just getting through this week, just getting through this month, just getting through this year. But I'm going to do these activations to make me feel better. I'm going to do these alignments, or I'm going to merge with this goddess to make me feel better. You are kidding yourself if you think this is going to give you the bigger shift that you're looking for. What we're being petitioned to do on this process of ascension, or as I call it, and I think is more accurate, descension, bringing more of your galactic self, your divine self into your physical, into your humanness. This is not going to happen without a deliberate, concerted effort on our part. And when I use the word effort, I'm not talking about something we have to struggle against. It may feel like a struggle at first because we're out of practice. We're out of practice with living deliberately. So it may feel like a learning curve at first. I'm not going to lie to you. But it is a skill that we are being petitioned, invited by the universe to develop right now. To move past this survival mode consciousness and into this more deliberate, creative state. Not only is it possible, it is something that anyone can do. It is possible for any single person to learn this skill. And when we bring it to mastery, meaning you develop this skill by doing it consistently, by dedicating yourself to a way of being where you are deliberately shifting your inner reality to match more of your spiritualness, more of your divinity. It stops being something that you do and it just becomes who you are. But like anything, it's a skill. It's a skill that you have to learn and then master. But when you master it, it is the most intoxicating experience to be able to create at this level. To literally look out at your world, to focus on the quantum field of potential that's available to you and say, I want that, I choose that, I prefer that. And then set about making it a reality. It is a creative process that I teach for you to anchor into this. It is a method. It is unique and it speaks to you. This is not a cookie cutter approach or a modality. This is a method for you to access your creative state, not my creative state, not someone else's creative state, your creative state. To access any way of being that you would like from the infinite potential of the quantum field. This is what I'm focusing on in this year. My work, my business this year is all about collaboration and expansion. I'm teaching you how to take where you have come this far in your spiritual journey and being able to fully embody that. And if you don't know what that means, go back and watch the beginning of this video. So I'm going to leave you here. There are 2 spots left for Evolve and Expand. And we start next Wednesday, January 2nd at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. I highly, highly, highly recommend this course. If you want to experience a different level of spiritual expansion and bringing that into the physical, DNA activation and restructure, it may be time to make your appointment for 2019 before my calendar fills up for January. And I want to wish you so much love and peace. And I will see you hopefully on December 31st at 8 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to be doing my 2019 energy forecast with a bottle of bubbly in hand, hopefully fireside, in my living room, pulling some oracle cards. These will not be individual readings. It'll be an energy forecast for 2019, so it will be general. And I hope you can join me or at least watch the replay for that. So I want to wish you so much love and peace. Mwah. Bye-bye.